Next up, something a bit different. I'd like to introduce the Bootstrap icons, which is actually a completely separate section of the website. It's under icons, and this is a newer part of Bootstrap. I believe it's actually currently, still in alpha. So these are a free set of icons. I think there's a couple hundred of them that range from, they're pretty commonly used things like chevrons or arrows, trash cans, delete icons, pencils, questions. And you can see them all here. There's quite a few of them, and these are all free for us to use. And the way that we use them is a little different than anything we've seen so far. Let's try and find one. How about a delete icon? Okay, so we've got a couple different options for delete. Let's just do the trash can icon. And then we have a couple of those. We've got this trash, we've got this trash, trash 2 versus trash. And then we've got filled, and then, so just like a dark variant versus a light. You can change the color of any of them, so they don't have to be black, for example. Let's go with just trash. So I'm going to click on it. And what we see here as we copy this code looks kind of insane. If you're new to this, this is an example of an HTML element we've not seen yet. It's called an SVG. It stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. If you're familiar with things like Adobe Illustrator, you may have come across SVGs before. I'm not going to go into it now. SVGs are they can be an amazing tool to building really modern, artistic, cool-looking websites and animations and games and stuff. So I'm not going to go into much detail here because honestly, all you need to know is copy this, paste it, and you'll get a trash can icon. But you should know a little bit about how SVGs work. This information here describes the actual paths that we see right here. So this is not an image. This is not something that's been exported or saved as an image or something like that. It is just information that describes the shape here, the different paths at play. So they are scalable. We can make them bigger and smaller without losing quality. We can change their color. It's a path. It's almost like a piece of your font, like a letter. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to make a button. I'm in a new document once again. Let's just do an H1 display 1 icons. And then down here, let's do a button, the class of BTN, BTN large, and we should probably do BTN danger. Delete. Let's see what that button looks like. Okay. And then let's put the icon in there. So it depends on where we want this to go, but I'm just going to paste it in here. There it is, right after delete. Refresh, and there's our delete icon, right next to the delete text. You can position it differently. You can change the font size, by the way. First of all, you can see it has a width and a height set to 1em. You could change that right here, absolutely. But what's nice about this, since we know how ems work, is that if we change the button font size, like button small, it's going to give us a smaller font size. The icon scales down as well. So it's not hard-coded. Its font size responds to the size of its parent. Okay, so there's one icon. Let's just do one more example. We'll do something slightly different. Why don't we use a music note? So I just search for music. Here we go. We've got music note beamed. I'm going to copy this entire SVG. And why don't I put this in my H1 right there? I'll refresh. There's our large icon, our music icon. If I change the color of this H1, like the text color, for example, text, let's do text primary. Notice this changes as well. Now you can also change this via CSS. We're not going to go into much, really, anything with SVGs for now, aside from the fact that we can incorporate them. While we're talking about icons, one element that we commonly use, or one component where we commonly use icons, is the input group. So an input group is some sort of input that has been grouped together with a label, some text, a button, a drop-down. So they can look like this here, right? Or they could look like this, or there are some other examples where there's multiple. Here's buttons. So we could use an icon there, for example, to make a search field. So if I wanted a search field, we just need to look at how we do this. So we'll copy this first example. We have a div with a class of input group, and then another div with a class of input group prepend. That's how we get this little thing at the beginning. Input group append goes at the end. And then what else do we have? We have our form control, and then we have our input group text. So let's just do this very quickly. I'll do this, where should we do it? I guess after everything. So right here, I'll make my input group. and then input group prepend, and then input group text on a span, like this. And for now, I'll do a $sign. That's not a $sign. There we go. And then, got to refer back to this, we need our input. So input type text, give it a class of form control. Let's see what we end up with. Okay, so there's our $sign. Now let's make this a little bit less wide. So we'll put it in a row, in a column, maybe medium 6, just like that. Okay, takes up less space. It's still a bit large, honestly, maybe 4, but this doesn't matter. And now let's get an icon in there. Let's do a placeholder for search. And then let's get a search icon. So let's go back to icons. We will search for search. And there we go. Copy that. Put it over here where we have our input group text. Put that SVG in there, refresh. And there is our search icon. It looks decent, right? Nothing amazing, but it's a nice icon, free to use. And there's a bunch of them that come with Bootstrap. Well, I guess they don't technically come with Bootstrap, but there's a bunch of them that are on Bootstrap's website that we can use for free. We don't have to worry about licensing or anything. On the topic of icons, there are other icon libraries and tools out there. Probably the most popular, or definitely the most popular, is Font Awesome. And I recommend Font Awesome. It's a great tool. It has way more icons. Just show you some of them here. And it has a lot more features. So almost 8,000 different icons. A lot of them you have to pay. You can see the grayed out ones are the paid ones. But if we just take a look at one of them, we have access to different versions, a regular, a light, a duotone, where we have 2 colors. And you can change those 2 colors. I mean, just look at how many building icons there are. Wow. Now, I'm not going to use it right now, where I might have in the past, but now it requires an email address to sign up. It used to be free. It still is free. The free tier exists, but it's obnoxious, and I don't like making you guys sign up with your email. But if you do want to check it out, it's worth it. If you're looking for icons that you can't find on Bootstrap, for example, the social media icons, if I want a Facebook icon, we've got a bunch of Facebook icons. If I want an Instagram icon, I can find that here, or Twitter. You know, those are pretty commonly used. Bootstrap icons currently don't have anything like that, but they're still worth using. Okay, so that's icons in Bootstrap. They're SVGs. What are SVGs? We don't really need to care, but they're scalable vector graphics. We can copy them, paste them, and they kind of behave like text in our applications. And that's pretty much it for now.